And joining us this morning on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, University of Tennessee Director of Athletics, Danny White, kind enough to give us a couple of minutes this morning. Danny, how are you? Good morning.
Doing great this morning. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. How excited are you to get to Omaha this weekend? Has it kind of clicked for you that, man, going back to September, Tennessee fans have had some pretty great memories to make with Tennessee athletics from September now all the way through potentially the end of June?
Been running around all these postseason competitions all spring, and this year has just been fantastic with so many of our sports over-delivering competitively. So excited about baseball in Omaha to turn around what was once looking like maybe a challenging season with really high expectations early on, and to be playing as well as we are right now. Shoot, we could win the whole thing. Wouldn't surprise anybody. So really proud of that group and can't wait to get out there to cheer them on.
How has it been with the ride that the university's had in sports for you? You know, it's a such thing as a kid of having good trouble. How is it with having good wins or good competition amongst the staff of coaches that you have from Omaha now to the Orange Bowl to the women's side of things, man? What has it been like for you?
Yeah, it's been special and fun to see it happen so quick. This is really just the completion of my second year here, and I think about Josh and his staff. That's an entirely new staff, and as you all know, a football staff is a huge part of an athletic department. We've had some new coaches come in and have a lot of success. We've had some coaches that are really good that have been here a long time that are having kind of across the board unparalleled success. Competitively, this is our best year ever, and depending on how baseball finishes will help determine where we finish on the National All Sports Cup. But we got a chance to have the highest ever ranking and winning our second ever SEC All Sports Cup 2 years in a row. We had never done it in the 39-year history of the award. It's all just really exciting. It just shows what this place is capable of, because we're still in the very early going of rebuilding this iconic brand. There's a lot of things that are in place that are, whether it's capital projects or investments in operating budgets that give competitive advantages for coaches. There's a lot of work being done that I know hasn't even come close to maturing yet. So just gives me a lot of excitement in the monster we can build here in Knoxville.
Does it still feel like, as you just said a second ago, I guess is the answer, like you're just now getting started? Like this fan base is still getting behind everything that's moving right now?
Yeah, I mean, we launched our 5-year strategic plan, Rise Glorious, last summer. This is the end of the first year, and we've already passed a lot of the goals for year 5.
Wow.
So we're going to dust that thing off and figure it out. We have the best fan base in the country. Selling out Neyland Stadium on a season ticket basis when everyone else is trying to figure out how to make their stadium smaller is special. The crowds that we can draw in Lindsey Nelson and TBA, all those things have really propelled our revenue, which allows me to then reinvest in our sports and make sure that we're positioned to compete at the top of the SEC and nationally. And we got the coaches to do it. They're showing it across the board. I think we're the only school ever to have a New Year's Six bowl win, 2 Sweet 16s, and make it to both World Series. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Danny, I'm just curious, just growing up, how competitive were you? Because you're a competitive guy in terms of an AD. You come to Tennessee, you're like, let's revive this program in the best conference in the country with the SEC that has a ton of other programs that are high up there. Like, I guess what fuels your fire to be that guy that continues to, bring this university to the top?
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that others want to win too.
Yeah.
Sometimes our fans and donors think it's just about us. We have to make ourselves a lot better, but at a quicker clip than the rest of the competition, because this is the best league in the country, and it's highly, highly competitive, and they're all working just as hard as we are. But we got this fan base, and we have this history and this iconic brand, and we can do some really cool things here. I like to think I'm pretty competitive. That's probably how I grew up. My parents were both coaches, and I grew up around sports. I was a basketball guy, had a failed basketball career. That's why you still see me limping around the Tennessee River trying to get my jogs in. But I'm not giving it up. I'm really competitive. That's why I like what I do. I like being a part of a team. I like being a part of the wins and the victories. And for that reason, this has been a heck of a spring so far for me.
And you can talk about the teams and the coaches and obviously the players and the players that come back to make this, continuing to be what the Vols are. But talk about some of the things in terms of what the future is. You have this Neyland Entertainment District that is going to just be a whole new thing that we've never seen before in college.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. And we've had a ton of interest from the private sector. It's really going to be transformational. Our waterfront here in Knoxville has an enormous upside. I think it's been ignored a little bit historically, and we're not the only town to do that. But we got these two iconic buildings in Neyland Stadium and Thompson Bowling Arena literally hanging over the water, and nothing happening there. So as we're brainstorming about our $300+ million renovation to Neyland, which has to happen and is in the process of happening, we have construction going on. I'm looking at a crane right now. But that had to happen. But as we started to think about, all right, how can we partner with the private sector and maybe stretch this project more and beyond where we could afford if it was just about our fundraising and our debt capacity. And that's where these ideas of a public-private partnerships, came in. And can we attach a hotel condo to the stadium and create the most unique hotel experience, condo experience in college football? And then in those conversations, the idea of a tabletop over the famous G10 garage. I've never tailgated in G10. Probably have to wait till I'm not the AD to do that. But I hear it's a great time and a very popular place with our fans. So, but it's right in between the arena and the stadium, right along the water. So if we can put a tabletop over that and do an entertainment district with retail and sports bars, restaurant options, family-friendly things, watch parties, I just think the activation opportunities, whether it's basketball games, football games, concerts, tying those two facilities together and creating this district that I think will really transform the south end of campus.
Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kalen, Will. And Danny, you bring up the kind of the stadium development and those things. It's cool that you guys are using Wrigley Field, Truist Park, and Atlanta, the Battery as kind of models for what you want to do. How important has that been to not only look at what other colleges are doing, but think outside the box a little bit, see what professional franchises are doing as well? Because that's kind of a fascinating aspect of this to me, is that you guys aren't just looking at what college football programs are doing, but you kind of want to take that next step and do what, the Titans and other places are trying to do as they build facilities.
Right. Yeah. And we're not the same as pro sports in many ways. We're obviously education mission first with our student athletes and housed on a college campus, and at public universities, there's state regulations and things. So there are differences, but I think there's a lot of similarities, a lot of things we can learn from. And I've always thought that in pro sports. It was a big part of our success in Orlando, and it's been a huge part of our success early on here in Knoxville. And we sold 17,000 new season tickets for football, not this past off season, but the off season before, after Josh's first year, when we went 7-6. We were proud of that as a first-year accomplishment as a team, but to sell 17,000 new season tickets that year was shocking, and that's because we built an in-house outbound ticket sales staff that you'd see in every NFL and NBA front office in the country, and you're not going to see that in very many college athletic departments. And that was more than double the amount of season tickets we had ever sold in an off-season. And then this off-season we sold 9,000, which got us to sell out. So literally every part of our revenue model, our business model, we're looking for the best ideas. We're playing a little bit of catch up in some areas right now. When we talk about our action statement with our strategic plan is to lead the way in college sports. And I want our student athletes to feel like that's their role as volunteers, as Tennessee Vols, and all of our staff. So where can we steal ideas from the pros, and where can we come up with new ideas that hopefully others are following? But the entertainment district, as you mentioned, I think is one that has really been proven to be a winner in multiple markets around the country. And we sit here in Knoxville with a big population. It's not a small college town. It's America's best college sports city. And I think it could really be highly successful here, where you have two venues, you got two teams playing in the arena, men's and women's basketball. You got obviously football in Neyland. You have concert opportunities, which all of those things mirror these different entertainment districts in pro sports. But on top of that, we have 30,000 students that are here every single day, and a huge campus population. So we're not in this huge city where going downtown is such a chore. So I think that there's just a great opportunity to capitalize on the waterfront and do something really, really cool that we're all excited about.
Well, talking about sharing ideas on a large scale, on a smaller scale, Danny, I thought it was really cool seeing Tony Vitello welcoming the Tennessee softball team back to Knoxville when they came back from the Women's College World Series, and just seeing Karen Weekly and Tony Vitello just talking as one team gets ready to head out for the NCAA tournament and the other gets back from their World Series experience. How important is that to you for your coaches to all have an open dialogue and open communication and support one another in that way?
It's extremely important, and their student athletes are watching them. And I think the way I define a championship culture is when I see student athletes and coaches and teams caring about each other's success as much as their own. You know, we talk about in any team event, you have to let go of your own your individual goals and be bought in and invested in the team goals. That's real and important. But can we take that a step further and care about across the board success? And we're very intentional with a lot of internal marketing with our student athletes. We need our coaches to be leaders in that effort, because I think winning's contagious. And Tony and baseball kind of started us off my first spring here, that spring of 21, when they came out on a tear, and Josh with the Orange Bowl, and what Rick and Kelly have been doing. And Karen had just a fantastic year this year. So happy for her. And I love to see that, and I was really, really happy to see Tony do that. And it's a great leadership thing to do, and it helps us reinforce this championship culture we're building here.
Danny White has been our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Thank you, as always, for the time. Enjoy getting to watch another Tennessee team compete for a championship up in Omaha. We really appreciate it.
No question. Thanks for having me. Go Vols.
Yes, sir.
Go Vols.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Danny.
There's Danny White with us here this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, saying a championship culture is a team caring as much about other teams' success as much as their own.
Yeah.
Winning clearly contagious in Knoxville.
And
It
it sets
does.
examples for your kids, your athletes,
Yeah.
that, these coaches are all about supporting each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to support each other,
Yep.
not only as your own team, but the other teams. I just think that was a great point, too. It sets an example for these kids.
It does.
These athletes, not kids, but, young men and women.
And that carries throughout the campus, too. It just does. So I'm glad to hear that be the case. And we all see that on social media, too.